Well, we've come up to the saddling area, the best place to view the horses as they're being saddled, making their way around. It's a great area up here as well. That we, as racecourse commentator Pat Comerford and I, screens and audio up here as well. So you're not gonna miss a beat if you are out the back of the racecourse looking at the horses for the next race being saddled. Good area, this, Pat.
It is hopefully utilised by racegoers. I mean, it's a different aspect to the races that I guess not a lot of people at Meydan would have seen. I mean, the wonderful facilities they have here and the ability for horses to be, I guess, away from all the action, but so close as well to be able to sort of, I guess, keep things flowing here at the racecourse is a great thing. It's obviously been very well planned when they built this track. So hopefully people are utilising the opportunity to get up here, because I mean, it's the process of getting a horse ready for a race might be something that not a lot of people who are visiting Meydan would have ever seen before, and it gives you an upfront view.
Yeah, and I think it's something that you can miss when you go to the races, but it's great to see the process from start to finish, really. A horse coming in, getting saddled, seeing what connections do to keep them nice and calm before the race, which is by and large what you want to do. Keep them chilled out before the races, but just sort of take them through that process. Then they're down the tunnel into the heat of the action. So like Pat says, it's well worth coming in and seeing that entire process from start to finish if you get the chance to, even if it's just for a couple of races on the night. Let me just bring up to speed with the going. So this is the report as the going has it currently. I haven't missed any rain this week, Pat, have I? No.
A little bit of rain.
Really?
Earlier in the week.
Really?
Yeah, that was obviously one of the reasonings as to why we had a couple of wet patches at Jebel Ali, which were rectified. We did run the meeting on Monday, but a little shower on Saturday, but that was obviously nearly 6 days ago, so yeah, I don't think too much. I mean,
good all over, as you can see there with the green. Yeah. Good all over. Sorry, go on, Pat.
And plenty of irrigation's gone on the track too as well to keep it in tip-top order. So yeah, I think the race that the track will run quite true tonight, and hopefully we see the times reflect that as well.
Okay, rail is out 4 metres on the turf as well. 4 metres on the turf, projecting that fresh strip on the inside. I'm sure that's all gearing up towards Fashion Friday, which will be completely fresh ground on the inside. So out 4 metres. The rail on the turf. Right, race number 1 is the Dubai Maritime City, a DMC Dirt contest. Let's take you through them then. I won't read all of them out, but Heart of Honour is the obvious one in there, I guess, because of the form that's worked out from last time. Lines up here with the penalty. Golden Redemption's interesting, up in distance. And there you have Manea, Royal Flavour, and Undefeated, who has been defeated a couple of times. Let's have a look then at probably the key bit of form, which is Heart of Honour, beating Undefeated and a good bit of form as well. The second looks nice, the third's come out and won since. So he tanked through this. I mean, a repeat to this, even with the penalty, should see him tough to beat, no?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I mean, you've got to expect that natural progression is going to come from this. I mean, how often do we see horses that have had a chance to experience the dirt here at Meydan just really excel through to that second start? And he got no favours here. It wasn't the biggest of fields, but he was 3 deep the trip, and Adri de Vries was very happy to keep the horse out there and just rolling. And I mean, he's going to get a more kindly run from gate 4, you'd suggest here. So, I mean, all signs point that he's going to go on with it here, Heart of Honour, and I would be very, very shocked to not see him run a good race and win this event. This is my nap for the night, nice and early.
Right, I've got against him.
Okay.
Because, you know, I like to try and be clever.
Oh, that's all right. I've done that a few times a little bit later on, but okay. Yeah, no, it's all good.
The theory is, so here's the thing, I think he's the best horse in the race, but I think from gate 4 it might be different. Obviously he was wide that time, he stayed out of the kickback, he tanked through the race. You know, there's a chance here that there'll be a few that kick a bit of dirt at him. Under the penalty, with a big run on the dirt last time, my natural inclination is to be sceptical of horses backing up. I think he's the best horse in the race, and I just wondered, early on in the evening as well, when it's hot and the track's riding quicker, Golden Redemption, up in distance, which is I think what he wants, might just lead pillar to post out of 2. That was my thought. Look, I'm not expecting Heart of Honour to get beat, but you know, you can't go through the card putting up the international favourite and everything.
I agree.
And so I thought in this one I'd try and get the Fav beat. In honesty, I kind of hope Heart of Honour wins, because I like international connections rewarding for what particularly the Osbornes and Jim and Claire Limited, who are well represented tonight, have done here by picking up dirt-bred, US-bred horses from and bringing them out with a run in the UK and targeting the programme out here. So I hope they're rewarded for that, but I have gone against the horse.
No, I agree. I can understand there is that vulnerability there. I mean, had the horse, I see where you're coming from. Had the horse came into this race off a fortnight, I would have been inclined to agree with you, but I think with the scheduling and the fact that this horse has had 4 weeks to overcome that performance there that was obviously in early December, I'd say that. I'd say he'll be back on song here. So I'm firmly in the corner of Heart of Honour, but I hope that it is a good race. I hope that there are a couple that we sort of see now that they've got that racing under their belt there, and that first performance, that maybe a few handle the situation a little bit better. It is early on in the night, so it's not going to be under lights. It'll be obviously well and truly dusk, but I think there'll be a couple that we'll see natural improvement just because they've had that experience here on race day already.
Race number 2, then we're on the turf, 1,400 metres, or 7 furlongs if you like, 190,000 dirham on offer here. This race supported by DP World. It's a National Industrial Park contest handicap. Here they are. We've got some colours and some horses you might expect, the likes of Creative Story for Buick and Appleby. Camden Colt lining up for Tiger Shane and Bupat Seamar. And that's the final page, and there you are, just Castle Bar. Nice big field for this, like a sort of a typical over this distance turf handicap out here, really competitive. We can see Creative Story placed in novice company when seen back in the UK, so has had 3 goes so far, second, third. I think my natural point was to look at this horse and go, hasn't won yet. This is pretty hot, pretty competitive. Can I try and get him beat? And then I came down with no. I thought he was just pretty obvious.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty. I guess
it doesn't do anything wrong here, and I thought back in Trip and Sue.
No, Will. I mean, if you look at the quality of the fields that he's competed against, and I went back and had a look through, some of the form lines from, a few runners out of this race. I mean, I speak of Kilt, a couple of other runners in the event that he did face. They've gone on and been competitive again.
And Kikuli Pryor is a good bit of form, and that horse is rated in the hundreds. So yes. I thought 87 was fair.
I mean, the fact that he's come in here, I think he's. No disrespect to our handicapper and Stephen Hindle. I think he's got in here with probably a few points in hand. I mean, coming into a 70 to 90, I think the big concern is going to be that gate. I mean, 1,400 metres is probably on turf, I'd say, the most unkindly distance if you are drawn wide, because you've just got such a short run to that back bend. I mean, you've got to be obviously making a decision whether or not you're going to go back and take your medicine, or if you're going to boot up and try and get around them into a nice spot there before they start to turn. Because I mean, you can be caught a little wide, especially in a field as big as this. We've got a capacity field of 16, so I mean, William Buick, you back him in 9 times out of 10 that he'll get the job done and not have to be too concerned about where he's drawn. I think he's one of those horses maybe could be 3 deep and travelling along well, and that won't be too much of a concern. I think, as I said, he's got a couple of points in hand here, and it wouldn't shock to see Creative Story ridden like the best horse in the race here and coming out and winning this.
Conor Beasley and Bin Hamash having a good time of it. They got Story of Light in here, who was 5th when last seen in the race, won by Rassas. That was over 1,200 metres. I guess the angle is here, a step back up in trip is potentially going to suit. This was on the straight course.
Yeah, look, it's only 200 metres, but I mean they run very, very differently. Obviously the straight 6 and the 7 furlong races. I mean, it's amazing how you can see some of the horses more so 1,400 then down the straight, dropping back in distance. We see horses improve dramatically here, and they use that 1,400 metres as a fitness run. But look, Story of Light's going the other way around. I think he's going to have a more kindly run in transit here. I mean, this was run at a pretty slick enough tempo. Rassas won the race though of the high 80s. I mean, it's his stablemate was the lowest rated horse in the race. I mean, I'm gonna sort of look at that. I want to see that I want to see King's Call come out and run a good race later on in the program, because I mean, how do we rate that race as a form line? But look, I think he's going to have a better trip over 7 Story of Light. I respect him slightly in this event. Okay,
both of us with Creative Story.
Yeah, I think he's a clear on topper here.
Race number 3, 1,200 metres on the dirt, and this is the Dubai Auto Zone handicap. And here's your field in there. Pen Portrait we're going to start with. It is particularly interesting, sorry, I should say. Second page coming up. Just 3 more to have a look at. There you are, Dukedom Smart System Al Hadir. We'll come back to Pen Portrait then. How do you rate the Sharjah form? We've had a few horses come out of Sharjah successes or good runs and win at Meydan this season. So this was obviously on UAE debut.
Yeah, look, he did everything I think that George Prince and Ed Crisford wanted to see from him. You come out and do this at Sharjah. I mean, you are running into a field at Sharjah. A lot of horses go to there because they're probably not at the competitive stage to be running in, I guess, these races, especially with the international inclusion at Meydan. I mean, at this time of year, the Sharjah races are strong enough from a form perspective. I mean, he's got a fair whack here by the handicapper for that performance, because visually it was very good. But I mean, the dirt surface at Sharjah and the dirt surface at Meydan are chalk and cheese. They are so different. I mean, it's a lot heavier here at Meydan. I mean, how they travel and how they run, I think it's a lot more unkind to runners here. You've got to be obviously fit and ready to go. I mean, I don't think fitness is going to be a concern, but I'm just concerned that Pen Portrait has not seen, outside of track work, seen the dirt surface here at Meydan on a race night, and I just don't think he's going to get as easy of a run as he does, especially now that he's been whacked with those points and he's having to carry the top weight of 62 kilos.
£11 for that performance and a success by 4 lengths, compared to Welcome Dream, who's gone up 8 for a 5-length success here. So does that mean you're more inclined to be supporting a horse like Welcome Dream? I thought I'm not with, but I was close to being with.
Yeah, look, I mean, then you've got to make the case about Welcome Dream having all favours from an inside gate. I mean, Dobbsy just rode the rail, and that was it. I think I said all over Barber's shouting in the call. It was quite an easy watch. I mean, we all had him on top, and he ran accordingly. Gamekeeper is another horse who's been impressive in his runs so far to date, but I mean, both of these horses are going to have to deal with the fact that they're drawn 9 and 10. I mean, the Welcome Dream didn't have the most electric start. He just plain and simply was able to sort of saloon through and was travelling better than them through that sort of middle stage of the race, and they stayed off the fence and out of his way. So, I mean, it's not going to be as easy for Gamekeeper and Welcome Dream to win this race. They're going to have to do it a little bit tough out wider, and that was why I tried to... Look, I had excuses for Pen Portrait, Gamekeeper and Welcome Dream, and I went a little wayward here. I went with Out From Under. I mean, he's bred to go on this surface. We don't know how he'll go, but he's got a very good draw in 4. The visor's on, which means that I think they'll be going forward. Hopefully they've got him fit enough. I have no doubt in my mind that Bupat Seema and Tygo Shea will have this horse first up for 2 years, screwed down enough to at least make his presence felt and go forward.
Days.
It's a long time.
Whoa.
But I mean, he's got the, I think on paper it looks like they're just going to try their luck here. Hopefully a few of these horses get caught wide, and Out From Under will be in the first couple and rolling on. I mean, I'm taking a chance with him because I think that there are enough excuses for Pen Portrait, Gamekeeper and Welcome Dream to not back up their last start runs, and I think it's an open race.
I'm with Gamekeeper, who I thought saw them all off and then got nabbed by O'Night last time, was a touch unlucky and asked to do a bit more than ideal. But look, it was open. It's not one I'm really nailing my colours to a mast with any confidence.
It's probably one of my more low confidence races of the night. I think there's a number of horses you can make a case for. So for those overseas playing, I think it's one that you'd be treading very lightly.
1200 metres race number 4 is the Al Wassel Stakes, sponsored by DP World. 300,000 dirham on offer here, 180,000 to the winner. Here's your lineup: Jungle Drums for Adja Reese and Jamie Osborne's interesting. For K Collins, Johnny K Collins, Jim and Claire Limited. Good luck to them. You've got Midnight Thunder there in the blue, Force and Valor, Callum Shepherd, George Scott. This is the second page, taking you right the way through to West Acre. Nana's Diamond, and could she be Magic? A Symbol of Honour also, I'm sure, are going to be of interest there. 1200 metres here on the turf. Let's have a look at Jungle Drums first of all then. Adja Reese for Jamie Osborne. This is the York Success, defeating It Ain't Two, and now lining up for new connections. What did you make of this run?
Look, I looked at it and I took it completely on face value. I mean, it was a very impressive performance by Jungle Drums to go on and do what he did. I mean, he comes into this with a little bit of a penalty as a result. He's carrying obviously the top weight here. I just was concerned about the fact that he's drawn to the wrong side here. I mean, we've got a 14-horse field. He's drawn 11. I prefer, and the results have preferred horses over on the far side at the moment, and as a result, I think that could leave him a little vulnerable here. Hopefully he can find a little bit of cover if possible, but there's some horses here, unlike that run there where he was, I guess, in the first few, Tom. I mean, he's not going to be in the first half dozen here. I mean, there's enough horses here, especially those Borsley runners. They've only got one speed, and that speed is absolutely full tilt early. So there'll be a genuine tempo. I don't think he's going to find the top. I think he's going to be having to sort of sit in behind them and make his run. But
who are you with then?
Oh, look, I found this really tough. I mean, Symbol of Honor looks the standout. He's the one that they've got to beat here. But I just keep coming back to that performance of King's Call. Again, I'm not sure how strong the race will rate. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Rasas took it out off the lowest rating of about 87, but it was just the manner in which he did it against older horses. He comes back against his, a younger age group of horse here, and
drawn well.
I think it's the most successful gate, Gate 3. We've had 7 winners out of there, and more so than any other gate down the straight. Not that that really matters, but I mean, it's the right side of the course to be on. He did everything right last time out, and I mean, reports are that he's come through the race incredibly well. So hopefully that was a nice prep run for him, and we see King's Call fully screwed down for this and ready to win.
Okay, I'm with the Godolphin horse. Yeah,
understandable.
I thought that was backing trip. I thought would really suit. And I'm going to go with those colours in the next as well. Race number 5. I know it sounds obvious to say, but William Buick, Charlie Appy. I think tonight. Last week, Charlie Appy had a good time of it, but Buick missed with a few. I think tonight's going to be a really good night for them. Race number 5 then is the feature, 350,000 dirham on offer for the Lord North Handicap, sponsored by DP World. Lord North, a record-breaking horse out here, of course. Great, they've got a handicap named in his honour, over 1,800 metres, where he was most successful. There is Arabian Light, who's got form with First Conquest. We're going to start, though, with Uzo. When we get through the rest of these, there you go, Shafaf. Is number 17, so nice and competitive this, over 1,800. Uzo beating Silent Film and High Bank back in 4th in this Lord North Handicap presented by Nikhil 12 months ago.
He's done a fair bit of racing through the middle of the year, hasn't he?
Uzo? Yeah, they keep him on the go a bit. I mean, I imagine they'd had an eye on coming back here. And he's back off a similar mark as well. He was obviously a dual winner out here last year. Look, he's got one style, he's super talented. He's
just a hold your breath horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fantastic. I don't know. To come out here against the best of the blue and win 2 handicaps last year was fantastic.
And in the manner in which he did it as well.
Yeah,
I mean, the runs have got to come your way. That's plain and simple. I mean, the runs have got to be in your favour. I mean, Safi got the dream run through the inside there. She had to obviously be pretty brave to go through and take us some of those inside runs, but they eventually opened up for her. And I mean, his ability to take those gaps as well is something that you've got to commend. I mean, he was a good horse when he was with Hannans, and he's even better now. Like Jamie said last season in that interview, he just seems to be getting better with age, Uzo.
Yeah, but he lines up here as a 9-year-old against, I think 2 proper bits of ammo in the Godolphin Blue. In Arabian Light and First Conquest, who've got form with each other. Arabian Light finishing 2nd in this novice contest back in the middle of June, beating First Conquest. First Conquest has subsequently gone on and won with a hood on, and that really suited. But this Arabian Light, I just get the feeling he's pretty well treated. And obviously he's had a couple of goes since successfully, and he's a 4-year-old off a mark of 100. I'm thinking that could be very tasty.
Ticks a lot of boxes. I thought if I wasn't to make Heart of Honour my nap, he was definitely the other horse. I mean, he was the one that stood out. Jumps off the page at you, doesn't he? Great performance in his last 2 runs to date. I mean, and the margins speak for themselves as well. He's just he's toyed with them his last 2, and I mean, as you said, he's screams as the perfect horse to be bringing out here to target races like this for the Royal Blue. So, Arabian Light clear on top of here, and I didn't really look into the race too much more because I didn't really think there was anything that could beat him here.
Okay, there you go. Good luck to all cadets. It's an international race, that, but the Godolphin Blue is going to be hard to stop. We think race number 6 is back on the dirt. 2,000 metres for this. JAFSA handicap and plenty of sort of ammunition we're used to seeing. The likes of Mendelssohn Bay, the likes of Never Show Weakness, the likes of Guns and Glory. Mendelssohn Bay beat Guns and Glory in the Dubai Islands Conditions race back on the 13th of December. Mendelssohn Bay has a way of going about it. Always up there anyway. It was Killer Collect in here who he defeated, which seems a good bit of form, and he's been largely progressive.
Yeah, look, he's done everything. I mean, I'd love to own a horse that's 3 from 5, including a group victory as well. This was a thrilling race. I mean, to go a 4-horse field to end the night, I think we were all sort of like, oh god, this is just going to be, it was obviously these two that were going to go down to it, but we never expected Killer Collect to bounce back the way that he did and make it as close on the line as it was. I mean, they both had their vulnerable moments. Killer Collect looked the winner through as they were turning, because I mean Mendelssohn Bay hit a bit of a flat spot, but he just kept rallying. So, look, I hope that's what Mendelssohn Bay does here, Tom. I mean,
are you with Mendelssohn Bay?
I am with him. I think Local Dynasty only has to show one little bit of vulnerability and Mendelssohn Bay will be close enough to pounce on him. I think Local Dynasty, this race sort of sets up to be pretty straightforward. I see Local Dynasty going forward.
Let's have a look at Local Dynasty, finishing 3rd ahead of Never Show Weakness in the Entisar.
Yeah, and look, I think he'll go forward. He'll be rolling up in front, and it's going to take a good horse to pass him. But I think Mendelssohn Bay is that good horse. So again, Local Dynasty will give a sight, but he's got a good knack of grinding away here, does Mendelssohn Bay, and you'd say he'll be fitter for that last start performance as well. So, look, I mean, Local Dynasty's not running into, the likes of what he did here last time out. That was just electric. I mean, that's a different level of horse there. I mean,
that's the ungenuine
when he actually decides to win, and they sent him forward. I mean, that's a different class. Local Dynasty's not there yet, but we'd like to see him obviously progress here as he gets on. And but I'm with Mendelssohn Bay here. I think he'll just sit right off Local Dynasty here and be rolling into the race at the right time. And this race looks right up his alley.
Can you make a case for El Yabri?
I can.
Drawn 1.
I can. I mean, I feel for Danny Tudhope. I mean, the horse has got 8-8. So, I mean, Silvestre de Souza's jumping on. Whether he had the opportunity to ride it, I'd say that he did. But, I mean, it's... Yeah, I mean, that's
not happening.
Yeah, I know. It won't happen. So, I mean, he rode a couple of horses really light the other week, and he's doing a wonderful.
I feel like 8-10.
Yeah,
anyway,
he's doing a wonderful job. But I mean,
look, just on that. Like, he's been phenomenal out here. He's been absolutely superb. Yeah. But I mean, most nights you're thinking, "Oof, you're light."
Geez, I tell you what, look at me. I'm double that. So I mean, I don't think I wouldn't want to be going anywhere near trying to lose the weight to do that. But I'd say that
you would be going anywhere near doing
Yeah, exactly right. But I mean, El Yabri did everything right there in that performance. Market was against him overseas, and he was able to continue rallying and go on and win. I mean, the ride. You could say the ride certainly won the race. I mean, Danny put him everywhere he needed to be at the right time, and he had enough in the tank to pounce under the lightweight. This is a bit of a different class of race. So I think El Yabri will be competitive, but nowhere near the top 2.
Okay, I think Guns and Glory might take this back over 2,000 metres. I think what the horse was.
2,000 metres is his ground.
Yeah, and I think he's just a sort of bit more of a slow burner. Tiger Shea up. I remember when he won here last year, I thought good horse, and it just hasn't quite shown it since. But I think he's got.
I think he needs at least 10 furlongs. Yeah. I mean, I think otherwise he just can't get warm, unfortunately. So yeah, no, I respect him too.
Race number 7. We'll take you through them. We've got a field of 12 here, and here they are. That's your first 8. So we're over 1,000 metres on the turf. A couple of turf sprints here. Again. You feel like you're going to want to be middle to far side. That's what we've seen the last couple of seasons. There's no Stamford Street, so that leaves us with 11. Thunder of Niagara, the more I looked at the race, the more I thought I could see that. Well-treated horse. I know he's 7. He had a few hard luck stories last year where he didn't get a run, running in some good races.
Do you call them hard luck stories, though?
There was one where I thought he was a touch unlucky. He didn't really get a run.
I think he had every chance last year to win. And I remember
except for the listed race. The listed race he was stopped.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he would have gone and won. But
I've just
look,
been-
if you're
I just
going to
got
get him, it's going to be 90 in a handicap.
He burnt me too many times last season, so I can't. Look, I respect him, but I mean, I can't be anywhere near him. I think he's.
Who are you with?
Look, I found this one a tough. I went Marcacol, sorry, off the ace. I thought Mikhail Barcelona booked on board, one that you've got to give and respect. He's a genuine 5 furlong horse. The interesting one I'll mention here, though, which I think we've got to keep a good eye on, is Indicate. Now, he got scratched at the gates at Jebel Ali, unfortunately unseated the rider and was scratched. He was sent back to the trials. He's since passed the trials. In doing so, trialled up the hill at Jebel Ali, was sharp, and then, funnily enough, they put him in the trials again at Meydan here on Wednesday night. So he's trialled 2 nights ago, and he jumped very well. On the dirt, over 1,000 metres. They trialled him. He jumped under Jose Santiago. He went 400 metres, and then Santi basically just pulled the handbrake and idled him down. I mean, I think they probably said give him an easy one. I don't think they expected him to jump as quickly as he did, but he's very well. So maybe they've just done that to try and sort of take a bit of energy out of him, because I mean he's been knocking on the door to obviously make this UAE debut for quite some time. He's a very interesting horse. I just don't know how Indicate's going to go here tonight. I haven't tipped him. I think gate 9 is going to make it hard. I'm favouring the horses over on the far side. So it was Marcacol for me, but keep a good eye on Indicate.
Okay. Race number 8, 2,410 on the turf, so 1.5 miles. And a nice big field again, as you'd expect for a turf handicap out in here. The likes of Kalidasa, Meydani we know all about out here. New Comedy, Deciduous. And you've got the gates in next to them. As you can see, Regal Connection out of 11, must be interesting, will be at Charlie Appleby. And then finally, Berkshire Nugget doesn't go. Confirming that for you. Regal Connection then in a handicap at Newmarket over 2,410. This horse is a son of Siuni. This was winning form. Dougie Costello was on board. I think it was probably during the Ebor meeting, so the sort of lead jockeys would have been otherwise engaged. But this was a nice sort of strong staying performance. I got appreciating the step up in trip, and I think he'll go in here.
Yeah, look, I've got him on top. I don't know what happened with my selections that went to Australia. I must have accidentally sent them the wrong one, because I actually had 14 on top of 9, but I'm definitely 9 on top of 14. Regal Connection from Havandi. I think he's a very interesting horse, Havandi. I'd like to see how that Swedish form translates across here to the UAE. But look, off that performance there, from what you've seen there at Newmarket, I mean, he's got to be given a lot of respect here, Regal Connection. But yeah, look, I come back to Havandi. I mean, the horse is 2 from 2. Whether the Swedish form is given as much respect as it should. I mean, you can only beat what you put up against, but he hasn't put a foot wrong in his 2 starts. I like the booking of Mikhail Barcelona, and I think the lightweight of 54.5. Interesting to see how Havandi goes in this upcoming race here. I saw a tweet posted by Racing Dubai, and they caught up with the trainer Nina Lensvik and just get an idea of how Havandi has been travelling over, and all reports and all signs say that the horse is well enough. Again, I think they're in as much sort of confusion as we are as to whether or not the Jagersbro form is going to hold up here at Meydan. So, yeah, big question mark on Havandi. Hopefully we see him run well, but yeah, Regal Connection for me.
All right, there you go. There's 8 winners for you between us, hopefully. Who have you got? Take us through them.
Okay, let's go to the first race. I'm in the corner of Heart of Honour. I made him my nap for the night, the son of Honour AP. Creative Story in the second. I thought the form is good enough to be winning this. Out from Under, first up for a long time. Hopefully we see him running well from a good gate and up on speed. King's Call up against his own age group. Hopefully will improve off that last start run where he caught the eye. Arabian Light has got to be given respect as one of the more confident tips for the night. Mendelssohn Bay to beat Local Dynasty, Marcacol in the straight 5, and Regal Connection to wrap it up. I think it's going to be a good night for Godolphin.
Yes, I agree. Decant some of those into mine, because there's a few we agree with. Golden Redemption, Creative Story, I think you'll go and win. Gamekeeper, Symbol of Honour, Arabian Light, Guns and Glory, Thunder of Niagara, and Regal Connection. There you go. Some of those I quite fancy, and some of those I think, that's a tough race.
William Buick might have to book an armour guard truck. He'll be leaving with that much merchandise if you're...
He didn't have a winner last week, did he?
He didn't. Yeah, no, he walked out with the tail between his legs. So very rarely, doesn't happen very often.
Well, there you go.
I mean, it's good to see William Buick, let other jockeys win a few races every now and then. It's good. So
quite right. Quite exactly. Talking of last week, as Pat Hot puts it up to the commentary box, here are some highlights now.